Okay, good morning, everyone. Let's get started. Okay, so look, thank you everyone for joining my session today. My voice is a little bit croaky. I've had this little bit of a flu slash chest infection going for the last few days, and no, as everyone keeps asking me, it's not COVID. Well, at least I don't think it is. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm improving now. But just yeah, if the voice is a bit croaky, just bear with me, okay? Okay, so let's get started. So, look, over the last 16 years or so, maybe more like 17 years, I've had various roles in organizations such as technology companies, financial companies. Most of those were sales roles, and one thing that I'd sort of question myself over and over, especially when I'd sign up a new client or I'd go through that process of initiating interest in a client, is why is it that one client would be much easier to onboard, to deal with, to engage with, to actually get the engagement rolling out. Why are some a lot easier, whereas others just create, let's say, a bit of a headache, right? And I guess you can relate that to personal life. Why is it when you date some people, right, or you court some individuals, it's like you feel like you're a perfect match, whereas other times it's like Jesus Christ, why, please someone get me out of this situation right now. um and that puts me to a sort of a deeper question, which is more around, I guess, this magic number. Yes, what is the magic number of clients required in any company to be successful, which is the emphasis on what we're talking about. But the hidden meaning behind this is really around emphasizing the magic number being more, I guess, relevant to not the number of clients you need, but the number of right clients, right? What's the magic number of clients that are suitable, right? If that makes sense. So we'll deep dive into this further. But first, let me go over what we're going to cover today. So a bit of an introduction to who I am. Hopefully not too boring, but I'd like to give you an idea of who I am and a bit about my background, a bit of an introduction, and what exactly is the magic number. So we'll deep dive into the basis around that and my theories around why and what that number is. Bit of details on why you need good sustainable clients, and that's what I mentioned 2 seconds ago. Sustainable clients, the right client, what's the magic number of great clients, and why it is you need those clients for your business to be successful. We'll do a bit of a wrap up, and then yeah, I'll help you guys calculate your own magic number, and we'll do a bit of a Q&A session as well. Okay, moving on. So, a bit about myself. So, 17 years ago, back in London, my first job out of university is a B2B sales prospector in the heart of London. Very interesting times. In some ways, very good times for the prospecting era, I guess. My strongest memory of this job was actually my first week in the role, when my boss slammed down a list of contacts that appeared on my screen. It was an old CRM we used called Goldmine, and yeah, he pointed at the screen, slammed his hand on the desk, and said, "Hey, start making me some money. Pick up that phone. It's not going to dial itself." I felt like I was in a scene of the Wolf of Wall Street, and I wasn't even doing stockbrokering. It was a little bit mad, but a bit dramatic. But that was a hardcore city. The culture of sink or swim really sank in, and like I said, London, New York, it really was the whole sort of, Wolf of Wall Street, make some money or be ignored. So yeah, 6 months later in that role, I was making more money than I could count. After my first month, my first paycheck arrived, $7,000. Sorry, pounds, even rather pounds. What, 10,000 USD? For a 23-year-old, 22-year-old, right? That's a lot of money. So I felt like a rock star. I shouted drinks every Friday. I bought expensive toys. I really felt invincible. So yeah, what it taught me, and I guess the day that I became an expert in what I did, is I learned to suck up, or started becoming an expert rather, was to suck up the long hours and the 100+ dials a day, all because I was hungry to succeed, hungry to earn more. and be the best at what I did. And within 6 months, I moved into the sales arms of the business and worked as a senior ISR, actually helping the organization with sales directly as opposed to actually making money on behalf of their clients. I made 100 plus calls a day. I met my hourly, daily goals, focused on the job, and learned how to handle myself in highly competitive environments. And it's not easy. I mean, people don't really understand. You've got to have. It's not about the size of your balls or the size of your ego or your confidence. People will take the mickey out of you in horrible, horrific ways, and be quite demeaning. And people don't understand that unless you've been in that kind of environment. If you can't suck that up, I mean, and there were people in tears, and most of them were guys, and there were even myself, there was sometimes I looked around and I was tired and, for whatever reason, I hadn't slept well and hadn't met my number, and then people would just point and laugh at you if So my only way out of that was, well, be at the top and then laugh at everyone else, and you always feel like you're king. And that's pretty much what I did. And that's why I got the promotion. And yeah, after 2 years in the trenches, it was quite good, but it was also, I think, time for my next move. It's not really sustainable to stay in that kind of environment forever. Some people it is, some other people it generally isn't. So look, I decided to embark on my next move and move to a completely different country and bring my experience with me to a more, I guess, bring that success to the other side of the world. So working in the trenches has taught me one thing: if you want something in life, you got to damn well just go for it, right? So um, moving to the other side of the world was a big move for me. Look, you need to be extremely strategic in business. In the business world, it is an extremely dog eat dog world up there, and you need to make sure you always have you're one step ahead of everyone else. So I quite fancied, after doing some backpacking in Australia, while I was at university, actually moving out there, and I told us a bit more relaxed, outdoor lifestyle, all that sort of jazz. So I thought, yeah, why not? So after utilizing my internal network to the max and making every effort to work nights after work to make sure I was able to I guess, network with the relevant people, I was able to embark on my next challenge in Australia, taking my refined sales skills from a crazy, insane, Wolf of Wall Street environment, to something a little bit more relaxed. But it was time to play again in this new world, and I kind of felt like a settler in a place that was ready for the taking, really. And that's probably why you get a lot of British expats over in sales roles in Australia, because I think they find the environment a little bit, I guess, similar, but at the same time, they kind of feel like the relaxedness means that they've got more of a competitive edge over perhaps some of the local Australians. You can take that how you like, but I mean, that's how I kind of found it. Um, Australia business is much smaller. It's very fine art, very different place, very, very good in terms of being built on trust. You can't afford to burn your relationships or potential business prospects as much as you can in a country like the UK. I remember I'd be able to burn through hundreds and hundreds of potential leads and not really care about it in the UK, because the size of the market was just significant. Whereas in Australia, I mean, you're only talking about what, 22 million people, maybe 21 when I was there. So if you burn a few prospects within, say, a certain industry like technology, and you make a bad experience of yourself and your company, it's only going to take one barbecue when a few executives are together, and that's gonna completely destroy your brand. Anyway, moving on. So look, I learned how to adapt to a new environment across different cultures and languages, including business language, which is, when I say language, it's not the different language in Australia, but it's business language is very different. You have to learn to be a little bit more, a bit more of a care factor, trust factor. There's a bit of a directness in Australia, but there's also a trust factor there to give you a chance. I guess give you a chance and listen to what you have to say. It is pretty down the trenches in terms of door knocking, and so my, oh, sorry, not so much in Australia, but my experience within the door knocking trenches side of things helped me, combined with the ability to adapt to new environments, to thrive again above the rest within the organisations I worked for. So I started working with some smaller organisations. It took me about 6 to 12 months to work out of Australia. Had a different much more of a different culture. Around sort of the relationship side of things, as I mentioned before. So look, yeah, started with smaller organisations so I could bite my teeth and get some solid experience, and then moved on. As just within my first year of employment, I was moved on to some other smaller organisations. But with my first year of employment, I was actually made redundant. So that was a bit of a slam on the wrist when you're on a 457 business visa with 30 days before you have to leave the country. So that was quite an exciting challenge to overcome. And I knew I had to really, if I wanted to plan on staying in Australia professionally, I'd have to work that one out. So I started to actually move up the ranks a little bit, and I decided to, after spending a few years in the S&B space, it was now time to take a bigger taste of the corporation world and start with the tier one organization. So yeah, it was time how to learn how the big beasts of the world ticked, plus a large corporation had the capacity to get me residency, right? I needed to get that problem solved. And a few companies out there, without mentioning names, helped me on that path. And after 6 years in the corporate world and learning how the world's largest company engines function, it was now time to embark onto my next challenge. Bringing the best of the UK world-class techniques and Australia's relaxed but relationship culture into Southeast Asia. Yes, I'm not the first person to do it, but I definitely felt up for the challenge either way. So yes, a place blossoming in opportunity, the Philippines, certainly full of challenges and many other things that you only see and learn once you live in a place like Manila, but plenty of opportunity. So I built up a team, a BPO, let's call it B2B lead generation organization. Sales enablement is the word I like to use, of professionals. Um, we trained an already highly skilled workforce with the experience that I personally learnt from the UK and Australia, and gave them the ability to sell on world class level and compete with countries like Australia and the rest of the world, and obviously apply economies of scale in regards to running a business out here. So over 5 years, we're about 5 years in now, we slowly built up a team of about 10 to 15 people, with over 50 tech clients that we work with on and off. Even in this pandemic, we continue to drive success by rolling up our sleeves. This pandemic has been challenging, but it's also given me the ability to reinvent my entire business. With the recession looming in countries like the Philippines and Indonesia and third world nations and developing nations, unfortunately, these types of countries do not provide stimulus like in Australia, the UK, and the US. So it has meant a lot of people out of work, but that's also given us the opportunity to revamp our whole model and get access to some very quality staff on a project basis, which works for both of us. So we're able to get people that are working 2 or 3 different clients, including ourselves, work for us, organizations, and they get flexibility. They still get a good salary. So it's created a bit of flexibility in online management in this new world, as said, even that. So yeah, I've even written a book. So feel free to pick up a copy. I'd be happy to send you anyone out that drops me a note. So the first 20 people that are come back to me, I'll flick you over a copy of my ebook. But look, I wanted to show the world how to become, or at least get started on becoming a cold calling expert. So it's not so much a how do I pick up the phone and make calls, because that would be silly, right? It's more of a story of what it is I did in my life to achieve where I am today for right or wrong reasons. So it's more of a give you a bit of a motivator on what I guess my journey looked like, so it can help you to maybe put you on whatever path it is if you do want to become a cold calling expert. So be persistent, and how I being persistent and how I develop my own sales career across the globe is what it's all about. Okay, all right, moving on. So to the main event. Okay, so the magic number missing from your 2021 B2B sales planning. Okay. So look, in every industry there are negative stereotypes and the aspirational ideal. When you think of lawyers, there's the nightmare of someone who profits at your expense, right? And drags things on to run up fees. In an ideal, there is a lawyer whom you pay $10,000 and saves you 500,000 worth of problems in 6 months of your life, right? In recruitment, there is the nightmare of someone just copying and pasting job ads and gouging you for entry level work with the ideal of being someone who can attract and assess a winning employee to your team who is worth their weight in gold and to whom you could have never found alone. In many other industries, let's say real estate, there's the real estate agent that just messes everyone around, puts fake ads up, and there's the real estate agent that drives value, that gets you into an area and provides you with education on the school system and the even the earthquake zones and the structural of the house, the issues with flooding and all that sort of stuff. Those are the individuals that provide you value, right? And those are the organizations that generally, you want to work with, but you don't always get the opportunity to, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say, when you're looking at the magic number, right? The magic number is finding clients, right, that are just like that, right? And vice versa, finding suppliers that actually provide your organization value, okay? So I remember in 2019, I embarked on seeking new clients, hungry and wanting to earn. Um, that's probably not the story I wanted to describe, but anyway, yeah, so 2009 was my first job in Sydney. Actually, no, this will do. Actually, this is a good story. I like this. Okay, and I found it hard for some reason, and this goes back to my whole, starting in a new world or a new country, not so similar to Australia, where I was just smashing the phones and generating sales left, right, and centre. Where I've come to Australia and I've got this list of 200 companies versus in London where I had 3,000 companies plus every month. Now I'm stuck with this list of 200 to 300 people, and it only goes up by about 50 or 100 a month. I can call that in a day. Well, that's nuts, but that's all I had to work with. Selling lead generation services to tech-based companies, and it was very challenging. And for me, I was just happy to get any old client on. And I think our minimum back then was about $30,000 worth of work. And yeah, I was ending up doing smallish deals of 15,000. Yes, we were in I guess, a semi-recession to some extent back then, the GFC. But yeah, no, it was. I was desperate to cut deals to keep my role and make commission. And at the end of the day, I ended up bringing on clients that just weren't suitable. They would come on board, they wouldn't see the value. They question the way that everything about the lead generation process and what we did. At the end of the campaign, they would just disappear and probably find another organization. At the end of the day, I wasn't A, selling properly, and B, I wasn't projecting enough value in what we did. So I was attracting the wrong type of client, right? Magic number again, we'll match it to that. So my magic number was not being met because my magic number was probably 1 out of 10. So I'd signed 10 clients. Right, I'd signed 10 up, and one of them was perfect client, right? And they're continuing to work with that organization as of to this day. The rest were just the wrong fit and just caused pain to our client services team and did not repeat projects with us, as I mentioned before. So although it seemed like I was hitting the right number, the right magic number of clients, hit my KPIs, I was actually ruining my success and setting myself up and the company up for failure, if that makes sense. Moving on. So what exactly is the magic number? In my industry of just to give you an example of B2B lead generation, there is a stereotype of low paid interim or offshore call centers making 300 calls a day, okay? Using an auto dialer, mass spamming message, and destroying your company's brand, okay? Only getting paid when they generate a lead, and only getting paid when they generate a lead, with most of these clients lacking the physical marketing engine to actually close the leads that we generate for them. Then there's the ideal of someone who connects the dots between sales and marketing, filling the gap where marketing leads go to die. Salespeople complain about the lack of meetings, where a specialist integrates the two, allowing for marketing efforts to be maximized leads to be qualified, and warm prospect meetings to fill up calendars of BDMs. So they spend all their time closing 6 and 7 figure deals and no time arguing with marketing, right? So I spent years in business, right? Desperate for cash to make payroll in my organization, especially to start serving the negative stereotype clients across a range of industries. They were disorganized, they were price sensitive, they were time consuming. And I spent all my bloody time just managing them, right? They did not allow me to do my best work, grow, or get my results I knew deep down that I could. Now, this magic number is really in relevance, as I've mentioned a few times now, to the right number of clients you need to succeed as a business. So what I worked out recently, for me to hit my revenue targets, I need about 20 to 25 magic numbered clients. Okay, it's probably the wrong wording, but I need 20 to 25 clients spending an average of whatever it may be, okay, and they have to be the right type of client, spending the right amount on me for me to hit my revenue goals this year. Bit of a challenge, but it is what it is. And at the end of the day, if you get the wrong type of client, right, you are going to end up reversing yourself because you're not going to be able to get the right type of client with the more inaccurate type of client, if that makes sense, right? So finding your magic number can take years of working with the wrong type of client. It certainly took me a long time to realize that, and a lot of very knowledgeable and highly kind of useful and mentors that I've been speaking to over the years. One of those, Derek, I believe is on this call at the moment, and one of my mentors that I speak to regularly. So anyone out there, I'd highly recommend, no matter how old this mentor is, older than you, younger than you, someone that does not have a vested interest in your business, isn't a client, isn't an employee, just someone that is completely disconnected from your business that's able just to offer you advice. Make sure you get those people and get more than one, because they will be lifesavers for you, and make sure you look after them. I certainly owe a few of them bottles of wines and dinners, that's for sure. So yeah, you just got to make sure that you work out who you're selling to, why you're selling to them, why should they buy from you, and they're all the basics, right? And then you've got to work out what is it in that organization that makes that company suitable for you and suitable for them. So why are they a good supplier for you, right? And why are they a good client for you? Now, if you can't answer those questions, you shouldn't sign them up. Now, for me, I look at certain variables. I look at how many salespeople they have. I look at their marketing engine, right? They need to have a sustainable, strong marketing engine. Otherwise, you know, for me, it's just not going to work, right? They've got to have a marketing engine in place that can sustain our sales enablement activities, right? Now, if you're an IT company, and let's just say you're selling, I don't know, you're reselling a CRM, right? Let's call it an Oracle cloud-based CRM. You're sending that to a small organization that has 5 people, and you're sending them a tool that's for 20 people. Now, let's just say for some magic reason they buy that tool. Now, are they going to be happy with that tool? No. They're going to sit there and go, well, we don't need 90% of the capacity, right? Why did we buy this tool? And they're going to be on the phone to your sales consulting team consistently complaining over and over that it's the wrong tool, and you're probably going to end up doing a refund, right? So that's just one example. Okay. So what is the magic number? Okay. Again, repeating what I said before, the magic number is the number of clients, the right type of clients, the most suitable type of clients, the ones that get the most value out of you, the ones that get the most value out of you, and they get the most value out of you, and vice versa, right? The ones that will grow with you, right, together over many years. You develop long-term relationships. You become a trusted advisor to them over many years. They provide referrals, all that sort of stuff. The magic number is those, right? How many of those clients do you need to hit your revenue targets? Okay, that's it. It's as simple as that. So you need magic, sustainable clients, right? Okay, so in my later years, I actually stumbled across B2B service and technology firms. That's who I actually sell to now, my company, that were, I guess, the aspirational ideal when I found that many of them had event-based generation activity. So that's stuff that we're not doing at the moment because of COVID, but face-to-face events that we would drive people to, and that sort of stuff, right? Where we would drive people to either a face-to-face event, a breakfast, a webinar, or in-person educational event instead of rushing straight into a sales pitch. Now, those were like gold for me, right? So those clients that saw the value in what we did as an organization, a lot of those were companies that actually had very big marketing engines focused around face-to-face event-based sessions, right? Now, for me, that was an eye opener because I just didn't realize there was money in that. So we actually spent a lot of time, not just at the start, I guess, generating attendee acquisition. So that was finding attendees to the event. But we actually found with these events and some of the challenges that we received from these large vendors was not so much the number of attendees that they could get. That was certainly a challenge, but it was more of the dropout rates. Why were the dropout rates so high, and how do we fix it? And believe it or not, just having someone internally or outsourced to sit there and call through every single attendee, 500, 1,000, 200, doesn't matter, and just ask them if they're going to be attending the event, actually solved 90% of that problem. So instead of one of our clients, without mentioning a name, 40% dropout rate. No, they had a 50% dropout rate. We reduced that to 20, 10% by just picking up the phone and calling. Because believe it or not, what we found was that many people just forgot it was in their calendar. And that simple reminder was actually, yeah, I should cancel the breakfast I have with my colleague instead because I do have that event, right? So anyway, yeah, so I guess this ideal helped me to become the ideal in my industry. So my clients saw me as the expert for events. So, we get approached now by many tech companies saying, hey, we're running an event. Can you help us? We've got 3 weeks. And it's always we've got 3 weeks. It's never, we've got 2 months. It's like, yep, sure. That's why you're paying us. And then we go out there and we help them drive attendance to their events. We help them drive sales revenue. We help them drive new opportunities. We, you know, help them to have a fantastic event, which is a tick for marketing, but then a tick for sales is we also help follow up those attendees, the right type of attendee, let's say the magic attendees, right? The right type of people going to that event to establish opportunities for their sales teams, right? So this whole, I guess, experience taught me to create a 7-point maturity filtering checklist for whom that's now what I work with now. It's to every prospect, excuse me, from my company I work with, I use a 7-point maturity checklist, which basically filters out all the crap. Are they suitable? This guarantees a high quality leads and productive, profitable win-win partnerships because it helps me to filter out, what does your marketing engine look like? Oh, you don't have a marketing person. Oh, you don't have a salesperson. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think you're going to be a fit for us, right? And it's about structuring it in a way that helps you to find good, sustainable clients, if that makes sense, right? And that's imperative. So without sustainable clients, you are not going to have a successful business, a successful role, a successful career. You need to work that out. Now, that's not going to happen overnight. My personal, I guess, advice for anyone sitting there going, wow, he's right. All my clients aren't the right type of clients. They're all terrible. Why did I sign them up? My advice to anyone that wants to start attracting the right type of client is to screw up as many times as you can until you find the right type of client. Yes, there's research you can do, and yes, you can talk to your clients as well and ask the ones that you get on well with and are profitable and you have good relationships with and you add value and vice versa. Ask them why they like working with you. Find out a little bit more. But Yeah, you've got to screw up and find the wrong type of clients before you find the right type of clients. And believe me, the strain and stress that it's put on me as a person over the years has taught me, hasn't so much, I guess, um, pushed me away from wanting to run my business. What it has done is it's created this thing in my subconscious. So when I start hearing it on the phone with a potential prospect, I don't even question it. Something just comes out. And then next thing you know, I'm saying goodbye to them on the phone, because that's how ingrained it will become to you. Because the stress of dealing with a bad client, trust me, it just, you get so sick of it after a while. You just, it's like anything, right? It's like a bad relationship. After a while, you're just like, oh my, you just expect the worst to happen. And I guess you just become a little bit more, your brick wall sort of turns up. But in business, that brick wall becomes more of a filtration wall. Okay. So in conclusion to sustainable clients, so I'd actually found my perfect client profile, which helped me to work out an average of each deal size from each client project, as well as the number of these types of clients projects I need to hit my annual revenue goals, right? So actually the magic number doesn't necessarily have to be the number of the perfect ideal clients that you need to hit your revenue number. But generally that's what I use it for, if that makes sense. So in conclusion, so I now help my clients to make their own ideal client checklists. I work with the best in the field along the way. Okay. I learned how effective event-based B2B lead generation is done when it's done the right way, how effective it is. And now I use it for myself. I teach clients, which has resulted in many doubling their leads, doubling their sales with minimal other changes to the sales engine. So not only do I use this methodology to help me find the right type of client, okay, and grow my business, I teach my clients to do that, right? These checklists that I use are checklists that I give to my clients so they can checklist their potential prospects, right? And they can checklist what we're doing as an organization, right? So I guess in order for you to calculate your own magic number, you need to first understand your unique value prop. So this is the part where I'll send this over to any of the attendees and anyone else that wants any more intelligence. Please reach out to me. But I think in order for you to calculate your own magic number, there's a few things you need to consider, right? So just wrapping up the presentation, I think this is really important for everyone. I don't want you just to see this as a way of calculating, what is it you need as an organization? This is going to solve all your problems. The reality is you have to screw up and find the wrong type of clients first, as I mentioned before. Your right type of client is not going to be my right type of client, right? Oracle's technology database solution right type of client is not my right type of client, right? It's a cultural, but in a lot of ways it's a personal fit that melts in with your company, your staff, your people, and how you operate as a business. Now, when you get that fit right, it's all rainbows the whole way up to the gold pot, right? You get that wrong, it's a strip down to the bottom. Okay. So what I've done is I've created a bit of I guess, a checklist that I'll share with you now, and I'll send out to anyone that wants a copy of it. Um, so how do you calculate your own magic number? So first things first, you need to smooth out your value prop, right? Make sure you know what you are selling as a business owner or as a sales leader, and make sure that you are crystal clear on how your offerings can help solve the prospect's clients' challenges, right? Really, really imperative that you understand your own value prop, because if you don't, no one else is going to understand it. You need to be able to pick up that phone and cold call people as a business owner, as a sales rep, as a sales leader, and make and generate your own leads and close deals. If you can't do that as a business owner, you don't have to do it as a regular thing, but you shouldn't expect your sales team to do that if you can't do it. That's my personal opinion on it. Okay. So make sure you understand your value prop, right? You know how to sell that value prop to your client base. Now you've got to find your ideal client profile. This doesn't happen overnight. Like I said, you're going to mess up many times. It could take years of trial and error to find a profitable niche. The earlier you start this journey as a business owner or sales professional, the easier it'll become for you to grow. Your client relationships will blossom, projects will repeat more frequently, and your income will grow substantially. So find your ideal client profile, okay? You've got to understand what they look like. If you work in a large company, fine. Talk to the salespeople, talk to marketing, find out what that is. If they don't know, start finding out yourself. Look through the clients, your existing clients. Ask your sales relationship team if you can call them and ask questions and do a bit of an interview. For large companies, you might already have profiles in place, right, or case studies that you can look through to answer those questions. Excuse me. Now, if you're a business owner, you you can just start calling up the clients that you work with already and asking them why they like working with you. That might help you to understand what your ideal client is. Next thing you have to do, excuse me, sorry, is estimate your client deal sizes. Okay. The best way to do this is to not accept anything less than your minimum engagement. Something that my mentor has told me to do this year. Don't take anything less than this amount of money, your minimum for your minimum engagement, or you're not going to grow your business and you're going to deal with people that are spending minimal money on you and giving you more headaches. Okay, so if you're selling software licenses at $10,000 a month for a minimum of 1 year, then make sure you don't go below this. Or perhaps you sell services such as recruitment or real estate, and do not drop below the minimum project as just as a way of hitting your number or even survival, because you're going to damage your business at the end of the day, right? There are certain circumstances where, you may have to, and your boss tells you to discount or whatever it may be, but you want to try and not undermine the value that you're pushing out to the market. And you need to make sure that you're attracting the right type of clients to spending the right amount of money of you, right? So let's just work out on average, say 70% of your clients bring in, say, 10,000 or $200,000 per year, right? So keep that ratio, right? Just make sure that, let's say 70, 80, even 90% of your clients are the right type of clients. That's what we're looking for, right? The reality is it's probably more like 50, 60 like me, or 70. I'm probably in the 70 range, which is good, but it's taken me years to get there. And those are the ones that need to be spending the most on you. And you might have 30%, 20, 10% that are just, they're the ones that are causing you a bit of pain, but there's a very small amount of them, right? So it doesn't matter. Now, calculate your magic number. All you need to do is work out the average what your top clients bring in every month, or say for every project, and how much billable work is invoiced. So once you figure this out, then you just need a yearly target, right? That you need to hit. So let's say it's 1 million USD, right? So if each client brings in $100,000 a year, as an example, then you have 7 of them. That's 700,000, right? That's not enough to hit your yearly target, right? So you would need the existing 7 clients plus 3 to 6 new clients, depending on when you get on board with them, to grow your business, right? In order to hit your magic number, right? And your revenue target. So, as an example, in this case, right, your magic number would be, if your revenue was 100,000 per year, okay, and you had to bring in 1 million as a sales target, or as a target, I guess, as a business revenue target, then your magic number would be 10, okay, 10 to 20, 10 to 15, okay, depending on the size of those last few clients. But generally, you'd be looking at 10 to 11 as your magic number, all right, if that makes sense. Okay. Right. Well, look, we're coming to the end of this presentation now. Thanks for dealing with my croaky voice. Still a little bit under the weather, but certainly this 5 a.m. wake up and this coffee that I'm about to have is going to put me in the right direction for success today. So look, for anyone that would like to learn more about the content published here, then please reach out to me. It's Matthew, MATTHEW, at cowanprospecting.com. I'll drop you all a copy of the presentation that I've joined so you can see that. Or, get a copy of my ebook. Or if you fancy becoming a cold calling expert, then send me an email. I'll send you a free copy. I've got a new book coming out soon, actually, which is actually based on a lot of this content. So I'll keep you all updated on that. That should be out within the next few weeks when I finally get my arse in gear and finish that off. But for the first 5 people that respond to me, I'll give you a 5 to 10 minute phone consulting session, right? Yeah. So anyone that responds to me, the first 5 people, anyone else that responds to me, you'll get a copy of my ebook. Okay. Um, So yeah, just in conclusion, so I don't know if anyone I mentioned before, I do run my own agency here in the Philippines and Southeast Asia, and we do generally target, well, we work with organizations across the globe, but generally APAC and Southeast Asia are our main points, and the English speaking nations. So our specialization is the technology enterprise space. So we help our clients, our tech enterprise clients, build sustainable and integrated demand generation models, which help drive pipeline revenue and velocity. And I guess as a professional sales and marketing integrator, my company and our, I guess, key values and competencies are to help close the gap between sales and marketing collaboration. We're certainly on the high end of the scale. We're not a phone-based dialer organization, so we have a strong B2B sales and marketing background. Our entire team does. Our team achieves this through a mix of demand generation, digital marketing, data analytics, and a futuristic technology that helps our clients to grow and at the same time maximize your ROI. So I guess our expertise stems from collective years of experience across APAC and Southeast Asia. So if anyone wants any more details on that, please feel free to reach out as well. Okay. Look, thank you all for your time. I'm going to jump into a Q&A session in 2 seconds. So just bear with me while I do that. Okay. For anyone that has any questions, feel free to ask now. I'll just give it a couple of minutes for anyone that has any questions. You can come to me anytime at a later date if you would like to ask questions as well. Okay. Given that we don't have any questions for this session, let's move on. Thank you all for your time. Any questions, please take them. You can take them offline, and feel free to flick them over to me via email. And anyone that's joined the session will also receive a copy of my session as well. Anyone that's watching this outside of this session as a recording, feel free to reach out to me. Matthew, MATTHEW at Cowan, COWANPROSPECTING, cowanprospecting.com. Thank you all for your time.